2 Timothy chapter 3. Here we go.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us this week for our Bible study through 2 Timothy. Paul's last letter that he wrote. He had wrote a previous one to Timothy as well. This is his last one. He is passing the baton to Timothy. This letter that he writes is pretty short, but it has no real Christian doctrine teaching. Most of this whole letter is about endurance, encouragement, how to stay focused, is that kind of thing. So we're going to pick it up. Yep, stay on mission. Chapter 3, he says, but mark this. That's pretty important.
As in, take this piece of parchment and
take note. Put this on your mirror in the bathroom, okay? Memorize this. There will be terrible times in the last days. People will be lovers of themselves, lovers of money, boastful, proud, abusive, disobedient to their parents, ungrateful, unholy, without love, unforgiving, slanderous, without self-control, brutal, not lovers of the good, treacherous, rash, conceited, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God. 2019.
All right, that doesn't sound familiar at all.
Wow. When Paul wrote this, just about 2,000 years ago, how he saw where mankind was going to go, and look at what we have seen in our culture, and these things are just growing worse and worse and worse. He goes on and says in verse 5, he says, these people who live like this, they have a form of godliness, but denying its power, he says, have nothing to do with them. This is a huge instruction. As Timothy's reading this, I wonder what he's thinking. Wow, man, things are going to get worse. People are going to get just horrible and slanderous and hateful and all about pleasure and all this. But they're going to have a form of godliness. Like, wow, what could have been going through his head? I think now, years and years later, we can kind of see that I can see exactly where Paul was coming from. This looks like modern day culture.
It does.
But the interesting thing, there's a form of godliness. In our culture today, most of us can see this. We see the riots. We see the people, hurting each other's. I mean, just this, people just acting so childish, and everybody wants their way, and everybody wants everything. But yet, 91% of all Americans say they believe in God. There is this form of godliness.
Yeah.
But denying its power, denying the actual relationship being filled with the Holy Spirit and connected to God. So it's a knowledge that there is a God, but no connection to him. And that is our culture. And then he says, and we got to talk about this for just a minute. He says, hey, avoid them. Don't be around them. Have nothing to do with them. Well,
Form communes. No?
No.
Oh.
No. What we need to talk about this for a minute. What does he mean by have nothing to do with them? Does he actually mean literally walk on the other side of the street? What does he mean have nothing to do with them?
Slap them in the face when they walk by. Not that either. Okay.
No, that would be having something to do with them.
Oh, yeah. I mean, obviously, he does not mean don't have any interaction with them, right?
No.
Those are the people that Timothy was called to reach, that we're called to reach. So, I mean, like,
and
I know
we need to understand.
What do you say all the time? I know what it says.
Yeah, but what does it mean?
But I think what he's talking about is don't get so intertwined with them that starts to shift, right, the way you think or the way you see the world or your relationship with God.
Yeah.
You can have relationships with other people, and we should.
He tells us to.
Yeah. But not like this,
people.
not this partnership type of relationship.
Yeah. I think one word works for me. Don't be joined with them. Don't be joined with them. Minister to them, love them, be friendly, have friends. Just don't join that idea of godliness with a form of God, and not, he's just, hey, don't join them. Don't join that movement that we're going to see.
Right.
And this would be the warning for all of us. Don't join that movement of culture.
Yeah.
A good question for me sometimes is just to ask myself, how much different does my life or my attitudes look than our culture generally? Because our culture is away from God. If I look like our culture in my own attitudes and thoughts and behaviors, then I am away from God. To join. Don't join culture. Minister in
Not
it.
different in how you look or,
attitude, heart, values.
What's inside.
Yeah, inside, for sure. Yep. Let's go on. He says in verse 6, he says, they are the kind who worm their way into homes and gain control over weak-willed women who are loaded down with sins and are swayed by all kinds of evil desires, always learning but never able to acknowledge the truth. Isn't that, boy, do you see our world is in the increase of knowledge, learning and learning and learning.
Yet we are but not better off.
Yeah, but we are no better off. Just as Jannes and Jambres opposed Moses, so also these men oppose the truth. Oppose the truth. Men of depraved minds, who as far as faith is concerned, are rejected. But they will not get away. They will not get very far, because, as in the case of these men, their folly will be clear to everyone. I often say, just watch and see what happens. Just watch and see what happens with new movements and new things. Does it build people? Does it make people better? Or does it destroy people? And I think what he's saying here is, hey, these kind of false teachers, these kind of people who are living, I believe in God, but they are far from the truth. They live their lives against any godly principle or character at all. They deceive people, weak people. Here he says weak women who, in that time weren't as educated. And he said they go in, they just give them philosophy and sounding like deep truths or more knowledge, but no truth.
I'm going to use some big fancy words.
Yeah, and I just see this we are living this today more than anything else. This is exactly where we are living today. But what he tells Timothy is, don't join them and all that stuff. But just watch, their folly will be revealed. And I'm old enough to know that this huge rebellion of the hippie movement, rebelling against authority, rebelling against the system and all that, came. And people throughout the years have said, well, what does it hurt if you don't listen to your parents? Well, what does it really hurt if you live together before you're married? What does it really hurt if... And, it just seemingly didn't look like it hurt anything. Now look at our culture.
Except, 50, 60, 70 years later.
Yes.
This is where we are.
Hey, the fruit of godlessness, of ungodliness is revealed. The fruit has grown. Look at the culture today and where it's at. And I think if you're wondering, just look at the lives and look at the truth. Look at people's lives. Look at movements. Look at things, and see, has it brought more peace, unity? Are people better off, or are they worse off? And I think that's revealed in the truth. So, all right, thank you for joining us today.
Hey, we really hope that this video was helpful for you. If you'd like to stay up to date on our weekly content, make sure to subscribe to our channel and click on that little bell icon so you can be notified when new videos are uploaded. And if you'd like to support the ministries here at Access Church and help make videos like this possible, there'll be a link in the description below. As always, we appreciate your partnership in helping us draw people into a growing relationship with God through Jesus Christ.